the Danish model 1889 Krag rifle. There were 3 countries that adopted the Krag Jorgensen, I guess, system. The US was one, and probably the one that's most known to Americans. The Norwegians adopted a version of it, and the Danish did. This is the Danish version of the rifle. As you can see, it's a bit different. The Norwegian Krag action is almost the same as our US Krag action. The Danish one is a little bit different with the box magazine and that. But basically, it's a similar design, but it's modified slightly. The safety on this is different, and the box magazine is. This particular gun, when I got it, was busted at the wrist bad. Had an old repair job done on it, and I went and had to take it apart and spent 2 days repairing this and trying to get it back in to where it's serviceable. And I used Brownell's Acro glass and some brass threaded pins. So when we go out and shoot it, we're going to see how good of a job I did. Okay, now taking a look at it, the magazine's a bit different. It opens, this thing opens all the way sideways. Unlike the Krag, which opens downwards, this opens forward. It's knurled in there. And then when it closes, the arm springs in there. We'll take a closer look at that. The bolt, and that's a little bit different. The magazine cutoff is kind of in the same place. That's it right there. And the safety, where it's a flag safety like on a Mauser, the safety on this rifle, this is the second model. This was added in here, is this thing here, this safety. And I'll show you how it works when we get a better look at it. And this gun has a brass tag in the stock. I'm not quite sure what the meaning is for that, or the purpose of it. And as you can see from the other side, you know, again, similar style action. Here's your markings. Rear sight's quite different. And this gun here is it's a heavier barrel, thicker. And this also has a type of a barrel jacket of some sort on here. I'm not sure what the purpose is, like a metal handguard, which comes down. You can see it there. The barrel jacket, and there's the bayonet lug underneath. Come over and take a look. There's a better look at it. The bayonet lug, and you can see where that barrel jacket is. So these Danish ones are pretty interesting, and these stayed in service in Denmark right until World War II. A lot of them were captured by the Germans, and as usual in World War II, all the surplus guns were gathered up and sold off. Take a look at the markings. There we go. On there, on the barrel. And again, very similar. Alright, so now I'll show you how the safety and all of that works on this. Okay, the first thing you'll notice on this Krag variation, like I said, is this cover. Now you can see it. The magazine operates differently. This cover comes all the way up. You would probably take the rifle, drop the shells in, and then close this. And then you can see the little arm and spring on the Krag. Whereas our Krag and the Norwegian Krag, this plate opens up this way, downward, and kind of goes around. It's got a straight bolt handle, but the lug and where it locks up and how you take it apart is all the same as the US Krag. Feeds around the receiver, comes up here again like the US Krag rifle. Okay. Now, also magazine cutoff. I don't have any cartridges, so I can't show. And I don't know which way's which with this, but same thing, little two-position device here. Now, where the Krag has a flag safety, we have this device here. And what it is, it's two-position. You press on this serrated surface, you push down and rotate forward. This is open, and the gun will fire. So now when the gun is cocked, loaded, you press down with your thumb and disengage the one notch, get it up into the other notch, and then this will kind of go on the bolt, this hook finger. Now the bolt will not open and the gun will not fire. I believe what I've read that this type of safety is on the later models. There was a modification to this gun. I don't know if they had another style of safety or not on this. So that's your safety. So pretty similar, and this is a heavier gun. This is, it's got a larger diameter barrel, and this jacket, it has pretty simple sights here. There is no windage adjustment. And I believe they're set for 300 yards or something, because 400, 500 meters is what it starts on elevation when you flip this up. So this is like the rifles that have a battle sight set at 300 meters. It fires its own proprietary cartridge, 8x58 rim. And there are two guns. There'd be either this rifle here and a lot of Springfield, or a lot of Remington rolling blocks were converted for this caliber after the war and used primarily as sporting and hunting rifles in Denmark and Norway. The caliber is kind of obsolete, and I'll get more into that when we get into reloading. Basically, what happened is, what I paid for this gun, it cost me almost the same amount for a set of dies and 60 brass cases made. So, tad bit different than the US Krag, the sights and that. And so we'll put them side by side and take a look, and take a closer look at the differences on these guns. Alright, here are the two side by side. That's a Danish one here on the top, and the US Krag. The US Krag's got a turn down bolt handle, where the Danish Krag has a straight bolt handle. You can see the cocking piece is different. And there's your safety here, where this has a flag style safety. Now if we look at the guns, when you pick them up, you can see the Danish gun's built heavier. And it is a bit longer than the US 3040 Krag. And looking in there, but still the Krag design and bolt. That's the US model, and this is the Danish. Now I'll just give you a quick review on the operating the magazines. Alright, like I said, different bolts, different safeties, and then you see this one opens forward and this one opens down, and you load. So that's kind of the big difference. I believe the Norwegian Krag, the magazine is similar or almost the same to the US one. I don't have a version of the Norwegian rifle. But this Danish one, tad bit different, kind of heavier built, both in diameter, the barrel and the jacket. It'll be interesting. This fires an 8mm cartridge, and side by side, this was a 200 some grain, and originally the black powder load for this was also a very similar 220 grain round nose bullet. But when they started using smokeless powder, they use 198 grain, which is the standard 8mm load in Europe, Spitzer bullet. Where the Krag kept the same ammo. It was out of service before they changed anything with it. But when you reload for these, you should keep the pressure, some load data goes up into the high 40s. You should keep the pressure at about 40,000 psi for both of these guns. And it can be attained. The only thing is the ammunition is extremely difficult to get. You'll have to reload it. It's very expensive, but I believe I'll be interested in comparing the two of them side by side and shooting them later on.